Life's a party. Life's always a party. Let's go, baby. How we doing out there? What's going on?
This is how I look like on the weekend. I actually saw a band play live at PJ's, and I was just like,
Yeah, where were you? A band? I was like,
PJ's.
Ryan out.
They're called Split Decision. It was actually kind of dope. I got in free, no cover charge, because he was like, you know what? I'm a huge fan of Life's a Party.
Yeah, is that what he said?
And I got in the cover for free. No, I did get in for free, though. I played baseball with them. But good time. I know, like, live bands, we don't get a lot in our local area. So to get a prolific band that does a lot of cover.
Prolific.
Bringing out all the 10-point Scrabble words here. But to get a good band around our area is rare. Like, sometimes you get them down the shore. They're known to be at Sea Isle. They're called Split Decision. Really dope band. They're a cover band, so they don't have any of their original music. But I had a blast. I'm not going to lie.
See, I saw you at a live band, and I also was at a live band this weekend. There's a place by us. It's in downtown Montclair. It's called Just Jake's. They're, they've been around for a long time. They were actually part of the Barstool Fund when Dave and the Barstool did that, when they were helping like local businesses and stuff, because they've just been around so long. And every Friday night they have a live band. We love going. It's just such a good time. I'm having a live band at my wedding.
That's
sure.
what our buddy Andrew, his girlfriend works at this restaurant, PJ Wellahan's, and he's like, yo, let's go to PJ Wellahan's. Split Decision's playing. I want them to be my wedding, like perform at my wedding.
Really?
So I was like, all right, these guys might be legit.
Sure.
So like as we're like out partying, he's trying to hook them up. He's like handing Coronas to them and taking tequila shots while they're performing. I'm like, dude, let's take it easy there, Drew. But they're a very good band. Life's a party. Life is always a party.
Wait, so
let's go.
One thing I got here. So it's cool. I was talking to my friend who is a grad student at Rider University. So she's at Rider. Ryan has connections there.
My brother goes there.
So there's what's cool about Rider. So I didn't really know this, but there's like a
there's
pub.
Shit cool about Rider.
I know there's something cool about
there's something cool about Rider University. Newsflash: there's something cool about Rider University.
That's what I've heard. I mean,
the Bronx, the Broncos.
Yeah, they. So she's a grad student, and she's like the manager, the head of a bar they have on campus. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's like a bar on campus. Well, she said
Bronx Den.
What?
That just sounds like a good name.
Bronx Den.
That doesn't even make sense. I don't even think Broncos live in dens. But here, okay, go ahead. Proceed.
That's not the point. But the point is, what's cool about this is that she's the manager of a college bar, and she said about a couple weeks ago she was doing something behind the bar, and she overheard two dudes talking about a podcast that they were talking about, and it's these two guys who wear ball caps. And they just talk about life and partying and stuff like that. And I was like, no shit, they were talking about us.
Ball caps, not bald caps. We don't wear bald caps.
No, not yet.
That's dope.
But I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, from like guys who around the area, you see people who go to a college not too far from us, and that they know us and are just like talking about us at a bar.
Well, I told you the other weekend I was out at a bar that I'm usually not at, and the kid came up to me with our TikTok page up, and he's like, is this you? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, I watch you guys all the time. I love your content. So I was like, one of my first, like, do you want a picture? Like, is this when you buy me a drink or buy me a shot? Is that what this happens?
Maybe a drink would be cool. I don't know if it's worth getting a picture with you, but
he's like, yeah, I saw you from across the bar. He's like, I told my buddies, like, I just had to come over and say hi and say I love your content. So we appreciate all of you who listen. One quick shout out before we get into our movie themed show, which is, we haven't done a lot of movie stuff recently, but I'm excited for this show. Producer Drew just got a brand new microphone. Now I'm going to put him on the spot, okay? He's got a brand new mic. Amazon shipped it today. You got the package,
That's
Paul.
true.
It's sounding crisp. Here we go. Take 10, 15 seconds, Producer Drew. I want you to give us your best 10 to 15 seconds of content that you could possibly think of, and the floor is yours with the new mic. Producer Drew.
This is why I don't do the episodes, because I'd be I'd be absolutely
So he gets 10 to 15 seconds, and he already throws in a curse word.
Already, yep, 100%.
I'm going to have to mute that mic. All right, so let's get into the show. Let's get into the movie-themed show, Paul. Lots of movie-themed things we do on the show. What are you, texting over there?
No, I have my list. My list is on my phone.
Oh, your list is on your phone. So this is what. So we're gonna go down our top 5 favorite movies. Paul got mad at me because originally I had top 5 movies of all time for each of us, and Paul said no, it's just like our favorite.
Yeah, because I think I studied film in college. I kind of know it's hard. Film is an art, right? And as any art has, it's subjective. So
Yes.
people can be like, oh, this is what I think is the best. This is what I think that this is the best. But for us, I thought, it'd be cool just to go down our top 5 favorite, no matter how good the film is. Like, what's the most enjoyable to you? Because this is when I was going through my list. I'm like, what would I watch? What would I do if I just sat in a theater and like was forced to watch this movie like 100 times? Like, would I still love it?
That's a lot of times.
And I was like, these are my films that I could.
So you think all 5 of these movies, if you watch them 100 times, you'd like
I'd probably be like, yeah.
them? Actually, I'm probably the same way.
And that's what's important. If that's what if you really like this movie. So starting off, my number 5, going with an animated film.
Ooh,
I love animation, and I think one of the best animated films of all time is How to Train Your Dragon.
Wow, I'm not expecting that. I was expecting the Spideyverse.
So honorable mention. I didn't
Honorable
put it
mention.
on
I
the
do have a lot
list.
of honorable mentions.
Yeah, well, Ryan goes, yeah, I got like all these honorable mentions. I'm like,
Paul's like,
okay.
this is very hard. I'm like, yeah, well, I got a whole honorable mentions. I got like 40 honorable mentions that I'm
Yeah.
going to get to.
So I was like, I want an animated film on the list. I was trying to think of my favorites. What do I really like? And I like Into the Spider-Verse from Sony. I think it's a
Okay.
great animated film. Would I sit there and watch it 100 times? I don't know. How to Train Your Dragon, if you haven't checked it out, like, it will change your life. You know that really famous...
Why
Dude,
would this change my life? I haven't seen it. Why is this movie going to change my life?
You really
a
ha-
freaking
wait.
dragon talking?
Wait,
No,
you haven't
the
seen
dragon
How
doesn't
to
talk.
Train Your
The
Dragon?
dragon doesn't talk.
No, see, you're already wrong. Let's not do what Ryan did. He just judged the movie, not even seeing it, doesn't even know, already made a bad stereotype about it. Like, let's not do that. Go watch this movie. It's from DreamWorks Animation. I don't know. There's a trilogy. All 3 films are really good. The first 2, I think, are better than the third one.
Absolutely.
The second one's like amazing too. Like, and it's really cool too because with that film, it unlike a lot of animated films, it progresses with time. So like the first movie happens, right? And then the second movie's set like 10 years later. So you see our main character grow up. And I think what I didn't like about The Incredibles, for example, because I thought about putting The Incredibles on this list,
Good movies.
that Incredibles 2 takes place right after the first Incredibles. Like, I would have loved to see Dash as like, in his early 20s getting smacked up, like
Okay,
running through
why
the
is
bar.
Dash shotgun and beer?
Because he's fast. Like, that's his whole thing, right? Like,
fast as fuck, boy.
Fast as fuck,
fast
boy.
as fuck, boy. Like, that's what I would have liked to see because those characters.
So you like the storyline of How to Train a Dragon?
100%. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's very adult too, and just
Is it? By the title, like I'm stereotyping this, like don't judge a book by its cover.
don't. Dude.
It doesn't sound like an adult sort of movie.
It is though.
Because I love those animation movies where it's like kids go see it, but they have the underlying hidden adult content. I
course.
really like The Incredibles. I like that. Good pick for number 5, though.
Number 5, I want an animated film. On
So
the
Paul
list.
said he put an animation or an animated film on there. We want to start doing this maybe, I don't know, not every show, but if you guys enjoy this this segment, we'll do our top 5 animated shows. We'll do our top 5 top 5 animated movies. Top 5 animated, Jesus Christ.
You'll get there, you'll get there.
Top 5 comedy movies, top 5 action movies, top 5 Marvel movies. So if you like this segment, we will definitely do it again in the future. All right, my number 5. Wait. I gotta get through my honorable mentions. You might want to sit back and relax because there's a lot of them. So honorable mentions, Paul, The Hangover. It's a classic comedy movie. The Hangover. I really thought about it. There is a comedy movie on my top 5, but Hangover didn't make it. And then a couple rom-coms I like, Paul. 27 Dresses. Great movie.
You
Check it
talked
out
about
if you
that
haven't.
before. Yeah.
You wouldn't expect that to be one of my favorites, but 27 Dresses, good movie. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That's Matthew McConaughey. Have you ever seen that one, Paul?
No, I have
Good
not.
honorable mention. I like Zootopia, talking about animated movies.
Zootopia is a really good animated film. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, let me get through the honorable mentions, Paul. Night at the Museum series.
No way.
What? That deserves an honorable
You put
mention.
the whole series in there?
In college, me and my roommate, we stayed up for like 3 straight days and watched the entire Night at the Museum series.
That's like saying honorable mention the whole Fast and Furious franchise. That doesn't. No, you can't do that.
All right, well, I'm doing it right here. Anything Adam Sandler I like, Uncut Gems.
You
Happy
can't make
Gilmore,
that.
Just Go With It, Blended, Grown Ups, you name it. Adam Sandler puts out bangers. He is the Justin Bieber of
I was
movies.
waiting for him
Adam
to
You
say
can't
that.
say Adam Sandler is a movie. That's not fair.
That dude is a walk-in blockbuster.
No,
Adam
he's
Sandler.
not. His dude, they do not perform well at
They
the box
perform
office.
well for me.
Fellas, have you started spring cleaning yet? The carpets need cleaning, the drapes need dusting, and your lawn needs mowing. Spring has sprung, and the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the best tools for cleaning. Aisle 5 in your pants. Time to clear out your winter bush and join the other 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with our code Life's a Party.
The start of spring also marks the start of Testicular Cancer Awareness Month in April. Manscaped has partnered with Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to testicular cancer, men's health, and early cancer detection. Manscaped is committed to raising awareness for the most common form of cancer in men's aged 15 to 35 and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer as part of their We Save Balls initiative.
Smell so fresh and clean this spring, and check yourself before you wreck yourself. Get 20% off with free shipping and our code Life's a Party at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with our code Life's a Party at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life.
I actually volunteered to check balls.
Can you check mine?
Okay, this is not making it.
Life's a Party, baby.
All right, let's get into number 5.
What's your number 5?
Number 5 is not going to be a fan favorite. It's very niche to me, and it could be very niche to an audience, is All the President's Men. It's a journalist movie based on the true events of the Watergate scandal. Paul, we've talked about it previously on here because I studied journalism in college. It follows 2 very famous Washington Post journalists in Bob Woodward, which is played by Robert Redford, and then Carl Bernstein, which is played by Dustin Hoffman, which is young Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, he was big back in the day.
So they try to gather information on the botched burglary.
Burglary?
Yeah, burglary.
I'm getting kind of fucking hungry over here.
Burger King?
Wasn't there a McDonald's movie? Not to take away from my number 5, but there was a McDonald's movie,
Super
right?
Size Me.
Yeah.
No, I think it was like a cartoon. Super Size Me. Okay. That doesn't get an honorable mention, Super Size Me.
No.
But I first saw this movie in school for a journalism class. I thought it was a really cool movie. It's good to see how journalists go and gather information, how they get that information, who actually talks, how they get an anonymous source, how they go about that. But it actually shows the importance of reporting and coming out with news stories that are factual. And we always talk about fake news, and this is such a good journalist story. There's a movie similar to this, not about the same events, but Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep came out with The Post.
I was literally just looking that up. I'm like, what's that movie called? Because I really like that movie.
It's called The Post. I like it, but this is the OG movie. It's an older film because I was watching Netflix the other day with my girlfriend. We were looking for a movie to watch, and I wanted to watch Casino. But that's such an old movie. She's like, oh, it's so old, we're not watching. So this is an older movie, but if you're into journalists or into journalism, definitely check it out. Number 5.
Okay.
It's very niche. I know a lot of people aren't going to see it.
It made me think about a movie. Did you
The
ever watch
Post.
Ocean's 11?
I think it was on TV the other day.
Dude, the Ocean's films, the original ones, Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, they were on Netflix for a long time. That's where I discovered them. And they're basically heist movies.
Yeah.
Of like, I mean, that's the point of it. It's 11 dudes. So it's like Ocean's 11, and they rob the casino. It's like amazing.
Yeah, I really like that movie. And there's a lot of stars in that. George
Oh,
Clooney, Brad Pitt.
That's the whole thing. Like, it's just star-studded cast.
The girls one is what, Ocean's 8?
Oh, well, that was the whole thing. When they tried to revive that franchise, it was like Ocean's 8. It was like
Rihanna's
Sandra
in that one.
Bullock, Rihanna. There was a bunch of famous people in that. I didn't like that film. I thought it was like okay, and they didn't continue with it. So,
Took a lot of time on my honorable mention. So here's Paul's number 4.
Number 4. The first Marvel movie on this list.
Oh, first, so we're gonna get multiple.
It's hard because is it my favorite Marvel movie? I've always said it is, but the thing is, it's not higher than the other Marvel movie on this list. So I don't know. It's definitely in the top 2. And this is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This came out in 2014. I'm telling you, when this movie dropped, it changed like my view on the MCU. It changed my view on Captain America. It was like a political thriller that I was really into at that time. It was just like a game changer.
Didn't you say that this has the best fight scene in Marvel history
100%.
where he's fighting in the elevator?
Yeah, dude, if you know Marvel at all, you know the famous elevator fight scene. Captain America's in the elevator. He's surrounded by all the Hydra agents, and he beats the shit out of them in the elevator. It's like him versus 11 dudes. You think that's what's so cool with these different fight sequences where you have to get creative? Like, he's in an elevator. Like, how much more creative can you get? He can't move anywhere. He's stuck there, and that's why it makes this scene so dope. And then he eventually jumps out of the elevator and, like, drops, like, I don't know, like 10 floors or something. It's, like, wild.
So he's done, right? Chris Evans?
Chris Evans is done in the role of Captain America as of right now, correct?
Because I saw that they're planning the new Marvel movie.
They have a Captain America 4 coming out, yes, and that's with Anthony Mackie as the Falcon. And if you watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, it kind of takes the place of like Steve Rogers passing the shield to Sam Wilson, who's the Falcon.
Yeah.
And it's a good series.
Do you think that's his decision, Chris Evans, to leave Marvel?
100%.
Where it's like, I'm done making these movies, so now we have to write something where you pass it along to Mackie to become the next Marvel.
I mean,
Captain America.
What's really good about Endgame in general, Endgame's not on my list, by the way. So,
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, but Avengers Endgame. So what's great about that is they had, they tied up a lot of loose ends. They had a great conclusion to two of our largest characters in the MCU up to that point, which being Iron Man and Captain America. And Captain America, his story was tied up. Like everything, it fulfilled everything that I wanted as a fan in his story. And I thought it was a really good way to go out and like eventually, passing the mantle of Captain America, because I think the character of Captain America, as in the comics, gets passed, the name gets passed. And it's important to keep that character in the movies, but for Chris Evans' character, I thought it was a really good conclusion to his story.
All right, let's rank real quick, not to stay on this, but the top 5 Marvel characters in level of importance.
Importance?
Important. Number 1 most important Marvel character to number 5. Who was it?
Hey, we start at number 1's going to be easier to start.
Spider-Man?
Number 1, importance for the MCU is Iron Man, 100%.
Okay.
Because he started the MCU. Without that movie success and Robert Downey Jr. portraying Tony Stark as the best, one of the best characters in comic books, like that franchise would have never kicked off and would have never been what it is today. So without that movie and without that character and level of importance, 100% that he's number 1.
2?
Captain America, by far. Just because the way his movies progressed, his importance to the story as well. And, I mean, the one reason why Civil War worked, Captain America versus Iron Man, you literally have your two main characters right there. Like, it worked because it was a difference of ideals. And, he was just a part of it, like, everything.
Number 3.
Number 3?
Where's Spider-Man?
No,
Spider-Man's in love over there.
The thing is, Spider-Man's right here. The thing is, to the MCU, I think he is for the future of the MCU. So you can put him at like number 5 if you want.
Okay, now we need 4 and 3.
I think.
What's the Miss Marvel?
Captain Marvel? No, absolutely not.
Captain Marvel? Okay, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I think Doctor Strange would probably be number 4 because Doctor Strange to the future of the MCU as well, being able to at least Endgame, Infinity War, he was was a real big character.
Does he have like the most cameos in Marvel movies? I feel like he might.
He's in a. I mean, what I think is so funny is you have Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, which comes out in a few weeks. Actually, comes out the first week of May, and his first film came out in 2016, in like the fall of 2016. So he's not getting a second movie until 2022. It's like 6 years difference between his first movie and his second movie.
That's because he's been in all the other movies.
Exactly. But you had Spider-Man, right? His trilogy, he had 3 films in 6 years. Wild. Number 3. If I had to pick someone else,
I'm trying to think of who you're missing here.
Thor or the Hulk? Nah.
I think Thor was important, but unfortunately, like I think also to the future. I think, if you had to pick
Ant-Man, number 3. Move up Spider-Man to 3, put Ant-Man 4.
Okay, what we could do is Iron Man 1, Captain America 2, Spider-Man 3, Doctor Strange 4, and probably, at least to the Endgame storyline, it would be Ant-Man. Nice. He was very vital to that progression and finalizing that chapter of the MCU with Infinity War and Endgame. There you go.
We'll revisit Marvel in your next.
Yes, you will.
All right, my number 4 is my first sports movie of 2. I'm going with Creed. So it's a spin-off of Rocky. I love the Creed series. It featuring Michael B. Jordan. Obviously, the ladies love him, but I love him as well, Michael B. Jordan. So this is like in correlation with the Rocky series. He's Apollo Creed's son, who Apollo Creed never got to see. So if you watch Rocky, he fought Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed died in the ring, had his son, Michael B. Jordan. Now Michael B. Jordan's having his sort of like Rocky run of this generation. And I really love this movie because it's more so local for us. There's a lot of Philadelphia references. Like they're always saying, there's like a little bit in the movie where they're talking about John. Like, what's a John? And then they were at, there was a cameo of Max's Steak, which I really liked. And apparently there's a story that came out. I saw this article where Max's Steak, because obviously Philly is notorious for their cheesesteaks. And Max's Steak is a cheesesteak spot. So they filmed one of the scenes in Creed in Max's, and they were like, "Yo, we were actually hurting financially. We weren't getting enough business." But you can kind of call it the Dave Portnoy effect, where they came to this Max's Steakhouse, or not Steakhouse. They came to this Max's cheesesteak place, had the movie, like, "Oh, let's go try out Max's Steak." Now I want to go to Max's Steak. I haven't been there, but because I like Creed, I associate Max's Steak with Creed. It's now kind of not a historic place, but it has meaning to it now. And that's like when I watch Dave Portnoy's pizza reviews, and we talk about Dave Portnoy a lot on this show. But like once he goes and does a review of a pizza place, immediately if he gives it a good score, they get mobbed and they sell out and the business goes up. And it's crazy the kind of effect having a movie in a signature place or having Dave Portnoy just rating your pizza good can do for your business.
So we talked about it with us in particular, right? Like our brand. That, for example, I mean, the hardest thing for us to do, right, is to get to gain an audience and to get reach.
Right.
No matter how good the content is, right? Like, so for example, you have Dave, who, you know, the pizza places that he's reviewing, he's finding the best spot. And eventually, once he discovers which spot it is, and people know his, you know, respect his opinion, that they're like, okay, cool. And then that place gets a lot of business. Even though they were so, like, they've always been good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing with this place. Like, you're talking about in Philly, like, you know, there's so many cheesesteak places that are popular that it might fly under the radar, even though it's really good.
Yeah.
This film was able to shed some light on that, which is dope.
I love they feature like Meek Mill was in the soundtrack. He's a Philly guy. I think they had like a scene in the Electric Factory, which I've never been to. That's like a famous musical venue, the Electric Factory in Philadelphia. I know the Roots really got their jump start there, who I love, who perform with Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show. And they have the Rocky Steps, the Art Museum Steps. So I like it because it's close to our area. It's a good movie. So Creed 1 and 2, I think, are out. I don't think there's a third yet, but definitely check them out. I love those movies. I think I watched them. This is one of the movies where I watched it twice in one night. That's very rare. So I was at home. It was on HBO Max. I watched it twice in one night. So I like the Creed series. Michael B. Jordan. He's got some skill outside of his looks.
I mean, he's in Marvel too. He was a villain.
True.
So
They got a new Black Panther coming out, right? Not
they do. No, they do.
You like me, Marvel guy now?
They have
I am the Marvel guy.
No.
But how? I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. But how's that going to work? Like,
Do you want to talk about it?
well, is there? I don't know. Like, how's it going to work?
I mean, if you're interested, like so the thing is, I even thought about it, like if, you know, unfortunately Chadwick Boseman tragically passed from cancer. I don't know, maybe it was almost probably 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And he was Black Panther, and he was an amazing actor, taken from us way too soon. And the thing is, a lot of people said, you know, what's going to happen? Like, clearly Black Panther's important. The story is, it's going to continue through Marvel. We want to continue sharing that story. Just because the first movie did so well, not just at the box office, but from like a representation standpoint.
Aren't there like attractions and stuff for Black Panther? Or no, not yet.
What do you mean?
I thought there were like, maybe I'm just thinking of like the museum, and it's already like has a cultural impact.
That's what I'm saying. Like the story in Wakanda is so much bigger than Black Panther, where they wanted to continue that story and like showcasing those people. So it was just like, well, if he passes, like what happens? So when he passed, everyone was like, well, do you recast him? Like, you know, that happens a lot in Hollywood in general.
Do you move
right?
Michael B. Jordan to that role? Or like,
Well,
but he has such a signature part in his Killmonger.
Yeah. So, but Killmonger died at the end of the first Black Panther film. So, like,
And
what
I am
happens
the
there,
Marvel
right?
guy, so.
And yeah, get out of here.
Shut the-
So, like,
shut
you have that. Do you just pass the role of Black Panther on, which has happened in the comics as well, or do you recast T'Challa? And at the beginning of when he passed, everyone was like, "No, don't recast T'Challa, whatever." And Marvel came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to do it. We're going to continue the story organically, act as if T'Challa passed in the films as well, give him a little ceremony." Same idea, kind of what they did to Paul Walker in Fast and Furious, where they honored him at the end of the film, and the film was obviously dedicated to him. And then, you know, move on with that story. And but a lot of people are saying too now they're like, they want to recast T'Challa. Like it's far enough past his passing where I think to honor the character correctly, we should like recast him.
I know people know, like people are aware of
Yeah.
it. So I mean, it's not gonna be like, oh, where's like? I mean, people are aware and they understand.
It's a weird thing in Hollywood all the time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, ready?
Number
This is
3?
what?
Top 3. Favorite. 3.
Top 3. This is probably one of my favorite artsy films, as you would consider, like, you know,
Kung
an
Fu Panda.
Oscar. Oh, dude.
Nacho Libre.
Have you watched the Kung Fu Panda
No,
movies?
it's always on, and I like see like parts of it.
Dude, I never...
Honorable mention: Kung Fu Panda.
Honorable mention, Kung Fu Panda, the entire trilogy. I'm telling
you can't put a whole trilogy
Well,
in honorable
no,
mention.
you can't.
If you're getting the Kung Fu Panda series on honorable mention, Night at the Museum deserves honorable mention.
Okay, yeah, you can't put a trilogy on the honorable mentions. All Adam Sandler films.
Dude puts out bangers. He is the Justin Bieber of Hollywood.
That's
Adam Sandler, Justin Bieber of Hollywood.
That's a
Banger
t-shirt.
after banger
That's a-
after banger.
oh my god.
I
But
didn't even list Mr. Beads, Mr. Deeds, Big Daddy. Like, we could just go all night.
Happy Gilmore, I'll give it to you. Other than that, I don't know. But here's the thing. This is my like most artsy film. This is with we both like this guy from Philly too, Miles Teller.
Yes.
Whiplash.
Okay, I
I
thought you were going Project X on me.
No.
I was like,
Awesome film too. Yeah, I don't know about top 5.
Honorable mention, Project
Project
X. We're gonna put the end of the episode. We'll have credits of all the honorable mentions.
So Whiplash was
I've never even heard of Whiplash.
Really?
So inform
I
me.
think you like it. It's basically a story of a drummer who goes to a prestigious art school. It's Miles Teller and who is the drummer himself, and the story follows him, and then his teacher, which is J.K. Simmons. J.K. I don't know what commercial he does. He's like Farmers Insurance. He's like the head of or the spokesperson for Farmers Insurance.
Okay. Yeah, I know who he is.
But no, he's he does J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
He's like the
camera guy.
The anchor guy. But yeah, those are your two main actors. You have Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons. This movie came out in 2014, and it's basically a story, as I said, of a drummer at a prestigious art school.
It sounds kind of like I put it on, but I just went to bed before I even started watching it. The movie with Andrew Garfield on Netflix. Oh, is it Boom Boom Tick?
Tick Tick Boom.
Or Tick?
Boom Boom Tick. Tick. You couldn't have got that more wrong. That's like the most wrong you could have been.
Boom Tick. That doesn't even make sense. Like, why would it go boom, boom, and then tick? Like, it's got to tick before you boom.
On a shirt,
Fucking idiot, Ryan.
You got to tick before you boom.
I got to start gaining some credibility and some
the movie
something
stuff,
on this
man.
thing.
You're the Disney guy. Leave it at that.
I'm the Marvel guy today. But is it like Tick Tick Boom?
Sort of. I mean,
Have you seen that movie?
Tick Tick Boom? Yeah. It kind of.
He knew the name at least.
Isn't it like he's like going to like Juilliard and he has to take classes or some shit?
You have to stop judging movies by the cover and the name of the film.
Well, I can't even get the name right, so Boom Boom Tick.
Um,
Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller. This film is just amazing because it just shows the struggle of an artist. It's very, realistic at the same time. It's just so intense. Like, it's one of the most intense films. The ending of the film is like insane, like will blow your mind kind of like switch.
Miles Teller has taken that more serious route recently with like military films he did. I forget what movie he did. But this sounds like more of a serious film. Really different from starring almost in Project X. I forget I feel like he was in some other funnier movies in the beginning. But he does have a good sense of humor, Miles Teller.
Yeah, I mean, what's so funny is he's a Philly guy, and he loves the Phillies in particular.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've been to a game where he's been at.
Really?
And they'll get him on there. He'll be like, "Yeah, let's go," and he'll like,
This drummer movie that you're talking about is probably not even better than the best drum movie of all time.
"What's the best? What?"
Drumline. Honorable mention, Drumline. Nick Cannon, isn't he in that?
I don't know, dude. Watch this movie, Whiplash. I love it.
All right. My number 3. I'm going funny movie. Here we go. The funniest movie of all time. Best comedy, Superbad. So Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, or what's his name? Michael Cera?
Sarah.
Michael Cera? Sarah?
Sarah.
Michael Cera? Sarah?
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Michael Cera? Sarah?
Almost there.
Emma Stone. What's crazy is I was listening to my boy Kevin Hart's podcast. It's called Comedy Gold Mines. I don't want to shout it out. I just did. God damn it. They're a competitor of ours because they're a podcast. But he has his own podcast, Comedy Gold Mines. Seth Rogen was on, and I'm on the treadmill, believe it or not. Boom, boom, tick. I'm going on the treadmill, and Seth Rogen's on. And he was talking that he wrote Superbad when he was 13 years old. He wrote Superbad. He said he was in the 12th grade with his buddy, and they just wrote about their experiences in high school. And then some odd years later, they shoot Superbad, which is now the funniest movie, in my opinion, being a comedian. That is the funniest movie of all time, Superbad. I love it. It's on number 3 on the list.
It's good. I think it's good. Best comedy of all time? I don't know. It's good. It's up there. Is that one of your honorable mentions? Hangover, I think, is up there.
Yeah, one crazy thing about Superbad, which is actually really bizarre to me, is that Jonah Hill plays a high schooler, right? He's 23 years old in Superbad.
Really?
Isn't that wild?
He doesn't look that
He
way.
does not look 23 in Superbad, like at all. That was a little chubby Jonah Hill.
That was.
But yeah, 23 years old. Like, he looks like a. I don't know. I'm not gonna roast you, Jonah Hill. I like you.
I forget how old. If you want to go down that route real quick, Andrew Garfield, I think, was 24 when he played Spider-Man in college.
24.
Yeah, and I think, or he was right around. He was in his early 20s, and Tobey Maguire was like 28 when he started in the first Spider-Man film. He was like 28 years old. I think Andrew Garfield was in his early 20s, and Tom Holland was the youngest. He was 16 when he started as Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's some crazy ages. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's crazy ages of actors and what roles they play. It's pretty bizarre.
My number 2, going back to Marvel. What I think is the best Marvel film, Avengers Infinity War. Avengers 3, I think, is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe film. I think my experience in the theater, the story, the way that they lost at the end, like it was like a 2.5-hour movie. That thing flew by like that. The pacing of the movie's insane. How you're introduced to Thanos. There's just so much going on in that film. And to me, one of the most fun films and best films that Marvel has done and probably will ever do.
We've been down this road on the podcast, but I really dislike movies that have long fight scenes.
Why?
I don't enjoy it. Like, what was Fast and Furious, when they had a whole ass fight scene down a whole entire runway of an airport?
I think that was Fast. I want to say it was Fast.
Fast
6?
Yeah. Fight scene like Transformers. I like the movie. Then they have a fight scene for 20 minutes, and I'm like, you're losing me.
Yeah, but that's
There's only so much you could do in a fight scene. You almost always know how it's going to end.
Yeah, but Infinity War, perfect example. You didn't know. They lost.
Yeah, I did. I knew from spoilers.
Well, then that's your fault. That's not the movie's fault. You should fix
the movie's fault.
yourself. No, I'm telling you, like when they
Boom,
lost,
tick, tick.
when they lost
all
at
died.
the end, and then all of a sudden, like literally, they all died. The movie cuts, the credits. Everyone in the audience in my screening was like, "Holy shit, what just happened?" And I'm telling you, it was just it's one of the best films they've done.
All right, what are we on? Number 3 or number 2? Number 2 for me. My last sports movie here. The best sports. So I had the best comedy movie of all time. Now I have the best sports movie of all time. Remember the Titans, Paul. Best sports movie of all time. Obviously, that's led by Denzel Washington as a coach. I like this because it's based on a true story. So it portrays racism and how African Americans had to battle back in the day and go to an all-white school and all the shit that they had to go through. And what I like about this movie, and I think it's very historic and very monumental, because a kid my age, I don't know when Remember Titans came out, but I believe I was like maybe 10. I don't know the year it came out. But I would never watch a movie that's solely based and has heavy content of racism. You know what I'm saying, Paul?
Yeah.
Like, they're almost introducing racism and teaching me as a 10-year-old kid the struggles that African Americans had back in the day through a sports lens, and which is what I love about the movie. Obviously, it has a bunch of ups and downs in the movie. I like movies that make me feel something, right? Like, I cry in Remember the Titans every time I watch it. It's one of those movies where it's like I can actually say every line of the movie. That's like one of the only movies I actually can. Remember the Titans, I think it's historic, being the best sports movie of all time. It's historic in how it portrays how bad racism was back in the day for African Americans, and it crosses over into the sports world, and it's just Denzel Washington's amazing in it. Remember the Titans, best sports movie of all time.
There you go. I agree.
Love it.
It's a great movie.
A couple of my friends haven't seen it. I'm like, what? You guys are missing out. Like, it's just a great movie. All right, go ahead, Paul. Number 1.
My number 1, my favorite film of all time. I could watch this movie literally all day. Just put me
Rugrats.
down. Absolutely not. My favorite film of all
Not
time.
even an honorable mention?
No, not an honorable mention. I mean, Rugrats to Paris. That was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
If you ever watched the old Nickelodeon movies, they came on the VHS tapes that were orange. That was pretty
that
cool.
was cool.
That was pretty cool.
That's
not
good.
gonna lie.
That's good packaging. Packaging police.
It was very on brand for Nickelodeon. Don't get me wrong. But my favorite film of all time is Back to the Future.
Wow, shocker!
Love Back to the Future.
Shocker!
It's just amazing. I have them on the set here.
I do have to watch that movie.
You haven't watched it?
No.
Like you sit down and watch it, and
I don't think I watched it because of how much Paul likes it.
It's
I'm
amazing.
like, Paul loved this movie. I'm not watching it. I refuse to.
It's just so good. It has Michael J. Fox. A lot of people compare Tom Holland actually to Michael J. Fox and the different. Michael J. Fox.
He was
in the mid '80s.
Was he Footloose too?
No, that's Kevin Bacon.
Wasn't he the werewolf? Oh, that's Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon is Footloose.
And there's a werewolf in Footloose.
I don't think so. No, at all. I don't.
I
think so.
am the werewolf.
But has all my favorite things.
We're
It
gonna
has.
make a T-shirt of all the different guys. We're just
He's
splatter
like
them
all the
over.
different people I'm not.
All right,
you know?
give me the number one reason why I should watch Back to the Future. It's a great movie.
It's a nostalgic film. It is timeless with its story and its meanings. Like you're saying, like you like the meanings and the story behind it, right?
Will I cry?
No, it's not that type of film.
Don't like it.
But for me, like I love nostalgia. I
God,
love
watch
time
a soap
travel.
opera.
I love comedy. And there's a not like crazy action, but there's some fight sequences in there that are really fun and important to the story. And it's just an overall good it's not sci-fi, but it's a good summer blockbuster film.
Aren't there multiple Back to the Futures?
There's
Yes.
3. The first and second one are phenomenal. People can say they like the third one. I don't really love the third one, but the first 2 are, oh my god.
What
they're
is
amazing.
Back to the Future? What production company?
It was Universal, I believe. It was Universal.
They got Back to the Future like attractions at Universal?
They used to, yeah. So if you go to Universal Studios in Orlando, right where the Simpsons ride is, that used to be the Back to the Future ride that opened with opening day of that park. So it was a Back to the Future ride. I actually did get to ride that before it was gone when I was a little kid. I've never watched Back to the Future before that, so I didn't really get it.
Oh.
But I wish they bring it back. And they do have some things there where they have the DeLorean at the park, and they also have the famous steam engine that was actually in the film on location at the park right in front of where the ride used to be, which is dope.
Nice. All right, my number one is
Oh god, here we go.
the Simpsons movie.
I couldn't tell if you were joking for a second there. You had me.
Spidey Pig. Spidey Pig.
That's a good one, yeah.
Honorable mention, Simpsons movie. Shout out. Homer. All right.
Can you tell us, please?
What, you really anticipating this one?
Drum roll, please.
My number one is The Wolf of Wall Street.
Shocker. Shocker. Let's shocker. Yeah. Clap it up like we didn't know that one.
All right, clap it up, baby. All right, so this is obviously a Martin Scorsese movie. It's based on the life of Jordan Belfort, who we all know because he stays up to date in media. And I think I like it so much because it is a true story. And his life was so bizarre where it's almost unfathomable that is the life he actually lived. And so interesting. I really enjoy, as I grown up, I actually liked the stock market. Like I like learning about the stock market. Honorable mention right here, a stock market film, which I don't know, producer Drew might like this. The Big Short.
Yeah.
Amazing stock market movie. Check it out, The Big Short. I thought about putting it on my list, but Wolf of Wall Street obviously has DiCaprio in it, Margot Robbie, Jonah Hill, which Jonah Hill even said that one of his favorite roles was in The Wolf of Wall Street. And he always wanted to work with Scorsese. I think he was like up his ass, Scorsese, like, let me get in the film.
Well, he didn't get paid. He didn't get paid for
Oh,
the
he didn't
film.
get paid. That's the fact.
That
right?
was the whole big thing where Jonah Hill wanted to work with the director so badly that he said, I literally will work for you for I don't know if he was free, but basically for free.
The cast in Wolf of Wall Street is perfect. Obviously, Margot Robbie. It's a Halloween costume every year. I think it is going to be an everlasting movie, especially with the stock market being everlasting. There's always TikTok trends like, we're not going to be friends, Jordan. Are we going to be friends? We're not going to be friends, Jordan. Like that part, that's a TikTok trend. Come on, Margot Robbie. But number one, Wolf of Wall Street.
Shocker. Throw it up.
Let's plug in Dogecoin here since we're talking about the stock market. Dogecoin, let's get it up. I have some share in Dogecoin. Paul does too.
I do.
Dogecoin to the moon. So what do you say, Elon Musk? Let's do it. Let me get a yacht. Good show.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that. But if you're not already following us on Patreon, it's something we're trying to up a little bit. Obviously, you like us. You got this far on the show. You're watching us. So it's just something cool that you get to see some behind the scenes stuff. We just finished editing a full clip of, I believe it's us talking about like if you want to start your own podcast.
How you should start your podcast, how we started our podcast, which is I watched it back today. It's very cool.
So that's another extra clip that we won't post anywhere else. It's just Patreon. And I think those, supporting us, it starts at like $2 or $3. So that, that would mean a lot to us, and we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
you can go get $2 to $3. Rob a homeless guy, take his change thing. Go
or,
get
or,
those two.
or not.
Maybe
get a
just like
job.
ask your mom.
Or get a job. If you're asking your mom, you're too young.
$2 to $3. Come support us. It'll go a long way. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up, Paul, especially in the summer. Woo! Life's a party to the moon with Dogecoin.
We got a lot of videos coming. I'm pretty dope.
We have
It's
a whole
pretty awesome.
whiteboard behind us, so you'll never be able to see.
But if you sign up for Patreon, you
Maybe,
might be able to
maybe
see
we'll
the
take a picture
whiteboard.
of the whiteboard. Some ideas we're looking at. But make sure to follow us on on Instagram and TikTok at Life's a Party Pod. We love you guys as always.
Music, take us out.
Peace, baby.
Later.